Much madness is divinest sense to a discerning eye. Much sense is starkest madness. 'Tis the majority, and this, as all prevails. Assent, and you are sane. Demur, you're straightaway dangerous and handled with a chain. Ode to Nursing. I wrote this poem in a class that I didn't really want to be in. You antipsychotic tongue thrusting into a blood-borne perimeatus. You infected stoma. You busted sac of intestinal drainage soaking into a piss-stained curity. You dementia resident voiding in your roommate's blooming foxglove. You festering pus pressure ulcer. You diarrhea flowing from an incontinent bowel. You abusive, burned-out third shifter. You attempt at applying condom catheters to flaccid geriatric penises. You expose pangelic scrotum. You angel of mortem lurking behind privacy curtains. You mucousy death rattle. You modeled nail beds. You Shane Stokes. You body propped, posed, and rigor mortis. You military time of death. In the past couple of years, I have been doing a lot of research, looking into the history of eugenics and population control, and I came across a documentary called Ma'afa 21, and it had a lot of really good information, useful information in there, and learned a lot about things that went on, a lot of things that are still going on to this day, actually, and out of that came this poem, and it doesn't have a title, but that's what it's about. Coexisting in a time of black lies and white magic. Any and all smushing techniques are viable. Genuflecting to self-imposed gods, mush-like, not easily stirred or moved mentally, unemotional, impassive, attempting to avoid notice, typically because of guilt or a belief that unearthing would lead to trouble. Waywardness, unruly, disobedient rebellion is a double negative. Secretive, brain-cuffed, and we are the so-called feeble-minded. Peaceful deviants painting macabre frescoes, blood-based pigments applied on freshly applied plaster. The colors are made by grinding the flesh of brown babies lynched in the womb. Eugenics trees have roots likened to that of lion erections, spiked and vigorous. They rape Mother Nature and come on her soil, asphyxiating the terra firma. Surly, forbidding, deep, death has a voice. Next one is about me. Kind of. It's called The Job Description. And if there ever were a dream job for me, I guess if I had to write a job description. Supreme eclectic reconciler, erecting flaccid souls and stimulating inner workings, working your innards, namely your heart, rooting out hate and sowing seeds of love, all in accordance with divine will. It's all a part of the plan. I live, therefore I am organized chaos. Unchained thought, despite futile attempts from non-wanderers. Despite lack of guidance, destination remains in clear view, if you could see through my eyes, of course. But I doubt your retinas could handle the intensity of my vision. You'd much rather chalk it up to happenstance, not knowing coincidence doesn't exist, relying too much on sense. But who needs sense, save those that lack reason? I paint complex simplicities over invisible bricks in bright, brilliant shades of gray. I dance standing still and sing silent spirituals in perfect pitch. The grass is never green on either side of my fence, and even if it were, I'm too fly to walk amongst it. I'd much rather float above it, High like winged swine, so fly my very existence is denied. Self-employed by God, burning holes through your blindfold, it's all part of the job. Given the recent circumstances in the news, things going on with, well, coming out even more now with certain coaches and things that have been coming out, or just things that get hidden in churches and things like that. I'll just read it. It's called Wolves in the Pulpit. Lord, forgive them. They know not what they do, thinking they can get over on you. Foolish attempts to pull the wool over your eyes, acting holier than thou but spreading lies. Using your word for personal gain, claiming to be an extension of the Lord's hand. But the devil knows they're only men, hiding behind a Bible playing pretend. You give tithes so he can push a Benz. Adultery, molestation, and greed. Wolves in sheep's clothing leading their flocks to bleed. Deception at a level such as this plants a seed. Before long, the whole church is following the devil's lead. We come upon my point, and to this take heed. The church is a building, the pastor is a man. Worship can be done right where you stand. Look to the sky and grab God's hand. And that's that piece. I went through a bout of depression. And as I was Facebook stalking people I knew, I was studying people and their pictures and their statuses and just trying to get a sense of what happiness really means. Because for a time I didn't really understand it. And out of that came this poem, and it's called The Dark Side of Yellow. I long to feel like ignorance, bliss. I want to bang my head against the rainbow and hemorrhage candy internally so I can think nothing but sweet thoughts. I want to shove the sharp thorn stem of a rose through one nostril and rip it through the other so that I can honestly believe my shit doesn't stink. If I get slapped with a bottle of sunshine and wake up on the curb with my coat on backwards, at least I'll have awakened to see another beautiful day. I'm going to coat my eyeballs with a million tiny red shards in hopes that I will always see the world through rose-colored glass. Come along. Let's jump off a cliff into a sea of love and drown in our longing. Or get eaten by a shark. At least we'll be digested together. If I slit my tongue down the middle, I can taste two flavors of pie at once. Apple and cherry. Now wouldn't that be peachy? Reach into my gut, pull out my large intestine, split it in two, and we can double dutch. Then I'll revert back to my childhood, scrape my knee, bleed on a canvas, come back to now defined as hailed as a work of art. If depression is fake smiles and long naps, this has to be what happiness feels like. This is a love poem. Well, I guess my type of love poem. I want to dive into you. Allow your sound waves to wash me to my destiny. Float along the ripples of your mind, bathe in the waterfall of your passion. I want to fish in your soul the hopes that I may reel in a piece of you. I cast my line and pray you find my bait satisfactory. And when I catch you, I will make use of all of you. Devour your flesh so that you may nourish me. Grind your bones to a powder and inhale so I can get high off your essence. Wear your heart around my neck so that it may always be close to mine. I find the times where you're asleep to be my favorite. You're completely vulnerable to me. The thought sends my mind spinning with possibilities, but I must keep my composure. I must stay in control. Don't go too far. If my love for you crosses that line, I will lose you forever. This is what I tell myself, while I ever so slightly slide my blade along your cheek, utilizing everything in myself not to press down. So far, I've stuck to my usual ritual. Clip a few of your eyelashes from my collection, kiss you gently, taking your smell. I want to dive into you. Allow your sound waves to wash me to my destiny. Float along the ripples of your mind, bathe in the waterfall of your passion. I want to fish in your soul in hopes that I may reel in a piece of you. I cast my line and pray to find my bait satisfactory. My next poem is one of my personal favorite poems that I wrote. It means a lot to me, and it's called Reverse Unicorn. The rumors go as follows. Stern and somber, he trudges along upside-down rainbows, leaving behind a trail of tiny shadow fragments. Sharp and piercing, dare not follow, for 'tis far worse than beds of glass. The reverse unicorn gallivants, no horn for his head, but beware of his. Alas, it's not well to neither expect nor assume. Conjecture, my fellows, too often develops too soon, like precipitated penile secretions, and thereafter, disappointment is a sure-fast succeeding visitor. The latter is an unwanted ado to us all. Null are all outcasts from merry onlookers, for you see only what sightless eyes find pleasing, as do so many contradictors. Dance with ignorance and miss out on liberation, for an open mind is truly bliss. And then the one I'll leave you with is called Blackbird. Blackbird. Fly me to where you go when life gets too cold. Wrap me in your wings and tell me everything is going to be okay. The ills of this world are contagious, and I'm not counting on no watered-down flu shot to save me. I just want to get away. Fly like you. I want to be fly like you, because it just seems cool to be above it all. Sit on a cloud where the world collapses into itself, because everyone today is only about self. Paranoia and deceit have melted into each other and seeped into flesh like a virus, and it's spreading. Minds stay like, I got mine, now you get yours. Crabs in a bucket. I'm not pulling you up. I stepped on too many people to get to where I am. And if you up, the pressure to be bigger than you and you looking better than me is going to cause my low self-esteem to pull me back down to my level. But they not realizing they can never be as high as you, Blackbird. They can never be fly like you, Blackbird. Because while you flying through the cool breeze, they're trying to be too cool and breeze through life with no compassion. I find myself standing down here pulling out my hair while everyone around me is walking into walls. Just because everyone around them is walking into walls, so it seems like the thing to do. They won't take off their cool long enough to find themselves, to tell themselves, self, this isn't getting you anywhere. And there's a lot of confusion down here because sense just doesn't make sense anymore. Assent and you are sane. Demure, you're straightaway dangerous and handled with a chain. I guess I'm going to be rocking shackles, because to conform to the complacency and repetition is just not an option I choose to accept. So Blackbird, let's fly away. Those are my poems.